Greetings! Mantare79 here, and welcome back to another deck profile video for Cardfight Vanguard Deer Days! Alrighty, let's begin. Pressing the A button now. Loading game and proceeding. Here we are in the main menu, up to edit deck menu. Here we are in the edit deck menu, and like just mentioned before, the deck profile I'm making one for is a Dark States, Chronojet Dragon, D-BT10. Okie dokie, let's begin. Selecting the deck, entering edit deck, and off we go. Here we are in the deck build menu, and like I just mentioned before, the deck I'm building into this deck profile video is a Dark States, Chronojet Dragon deck, made up of cards only available up until D-BT10. And alright, let's get started. So go into filter settings and to pack, show only cards from D-BT1, Genesis of the 5 Greats, D-BT2, Brush of the Legends, D-BT3, Advance of Intertwined Star, D-BT4, Awakening of Chakrabarti, D-BT5, Triumphant Return of Brave Heroes, Festival Collection 2021, Festival Collection 2022, Promo Pack number 1, D-BT6, Blazing Dragon Reborn, D-BT7, Raging Flame Against Emerald Storm, D-BT8, Minerva Rising, D-BT9, Dragon Tree Invasion, and D-BT10, Dragon Masquerade. Apply filter, filters apply. Let's get started. First up, the Grade 3 lineup. And now for the Grade 3 lineup. For the Grade 3s in this deck, we are playing Ride Deck, Grade 3, Chronojet Dragon. Skills, first skill, auto as a Vanguard, Generation Break 2. Active if you have 2 or more face-up G units in total on your Vanguard or G zone. When this unit attacks a Vanguard until end of battle, this unit gets plus 5,000 power, and your opponent cannot call Grade 1 or greater cards from hand to Guardian Circle. Second skill, auto as a Vanguard. When your G unit strike during your turn, cost Counterblast 1. If the cost and paid, choose one of your opponent's rear guards and put it into the bottom of their deck. So for Chronojet Dragon, it's the main Grade 3 to ride this deck. Its skills, the first skill, when attacking an opponent's Vanguard, as long as the conditions of the first skill are met, not only do you get to give power to your Vanguard Chronojet, but you can also limit the number of cards they can guard with to give you an easier chance to land an attack. And the second skill, when striding atop Chronojet Dragon by paying the cost, you can weaken your opponent's formation by reducing the number of rear guards they have by sending them to the deck. And alright, the Grade 3 Chronojet Dragon, we have 4 in the deck, 1 in the ride deck, 3 in the main deck. And up next, the Grade 3 Steam Fighter Bali. Skills, first skill, continuous as a rearguard, Generation Break 2. Active if you have 2 or more face-up G units in total on your Vanguard or G zone. During your turn, if any player's rearguard is put into the bottom of their deck this turn, this unit gets plus 10,000 power. Second skill, auto. When this card is discarded from hand for the cost of stride, draw a card. So for Bali, a pretty powerful card to play in your Dark States Nation decks, especially for Chronojet Dragon. Its skills, the first skill, when the conditions of the first skill are met, your Bali then can serve as a potential 23,000 point attacker for your front row. And the second skill, when paid for the cost of stride, you can draw more cards to restock your hand with. Okie dokie, the Grade 3 Steam Fighter Bali. We have 3 in the deck. And with that, we just about covered the deck's Grade 3 lineup. Next, let's get on to the deck's Grade 2 lineup. And now for the Grade 2 lineup. For the Grade 2s in this deck, we are playing Ride Deck, Grade 2, Smoke Gear Dragon. Skill, auto. When this unit is rolled upon by a Grade 3 with Chronojet in its card name, cost Soul Blast 1. If the cost and paid, search your deck for up to 1 Grade 3 unit card, reveal it, put it into your hand, and shuffle your deck. So for Smoke Gear, the main Grade 2 to ride in this deck, its skill, when ridden on top of by a Grade 3 Chronojet, by paying the cost, you can then search your deck for a Grade 3 card to help in your later game strategy. And alrighty, the Grade 2 Smoke Gear Dragon, we have 1 in the ride deck. Up next, the Grade 2 Upstream Dragon. Skill, auto as a rear guard, Generation Break 1. Active if you have 1 or more face-up G units in total on your Vanguard G zone. When this unit attacks a Vanguard, this unit gets plus 5,000 power until end of battle. At the end of battle, cost, put this unit in the bottom of your deck. If the cost and paid, search your deck for up to 1 Grade 1 card, call to the back row rear guard circle, and shuffle your deck. So for Upstream, a support card for the Chronojet Dragon deck with skill, When attacking, it can serve as a potential 15,000 point attacker for your front row. Then after attacking, by moving this card to the bottom of the deck, you can search your deck for another great one card to serve as a potential back row booster or a rear guard whose skill you wish to take advantage of later in the game. And okie dokie, the Great 2 Upstream Dragon. We have 4 in the deck. Next up, the Great 2 Steam Fighter Argandia. Skill, auto. When this unit is put in the Guardian Circle, cost, Soul Blast 1. If the cost is paid, this unit gets plus 5,000 shield until end of battle. If your G-Zone has a face-up card, this unit gets plus 10,000 shield instead of 5,000. So for Argandia, another support card for the Chronojet Dragon deck with skill. When used to guard with by paying the cost, Argandia then can serve as a potential 10,000 to 15,000 point shield on his own. Affirmative, the Great 2 Steam Fighter Argandia. We have 2 in the deck. Next up, the Great 2 Servant Falcrazia. Skills, first skill, auto as a rear guard. When this unit attacks a grade 3 or greater unit, choose up to 1 Dark States from your drop. Put this unit, then this unit gets plus 5,000 power until end of battle. For each card grade on that card, put that chosen card to soul. So for the second skill, auto as a rear guard. At the end of the turn, if you have a grade 4 or greater Vanguard, cost, put this unit to soul, and if the cost is paid, draw a card. Silver Falcrazia, a pretty good grade 2 to play in your Dark States Nation decks if its skills. The first skill, when attacking, while the conditions of the skill are met, you can take any Dark States Nation card from your drop zone to put into your soul to build up your soul for their Soul Blast, and then you can also increase Falcrazia's power by the number of grades on the placed card, thereby making your Falcrazia a potential front row attacker to pressure or finish off your opponent with. Any second skill, at the end of the turn, if the conditions of the skill are met and you don't mind moving Falcrazia from your rear guard to your soul, not only do you get to build up your soul for their Soul Blast, but you can also draw more cards to restock your hand with. And affirmative, the Great 2 Servant Falcrazia. We have 3 in the deck. And at that, we just about covered the deck's Great 2 lineup. Next, let's get on to the deck's Great 1 lineup. And now for the Great 1 lineup. For the Great 1s in this deck, we are playing Ride Deck Great 1 Mazer Gear Dragon. Skill, auto. When this unit is placed by riding from Chronodran, draw a card and you get a Chronojet Dragon crest. So for Mazer Gear, the main Great 1 to ride this deck, its skill, when riding on top of Chronodran, not only do you get to draw more cards to restock your hand with, but you can also deploy the Chronojet Dragon crest, a necessary card to use to play in the Chronojet Dragon deck. Alrighty, the Great 1 Mazer Gear Dragon, we have 1 in the Ride deck. Up next, the Great 1 Steam Maiden, Arlim, Sentinel, Perfect Guard. Skills, first skill, continuous. You may only have up to 4 cards of continuous Sentinel deck. Second skill, auto. When this unit is put in the Guardian Circle, choose one of your units. It cannot be hit until end of battle. If your hand has 2 or more cards, choose a card from hand and discard it. So for Arlim, a Perfect Guard for the Dark States Nation. Like any other Perfect Guard in the Cardfight Vanguard trading card game, she features the same skill and activation, which is, when used to guard with, discarding 1 card from hand, you can block an enemy attack. But it also features an ability unique to all Perfect Guards in the D standard format, which is, when used to guard with, while you have less than 2 cards in hand, you will not have to pay the usual discard 1 cost, making Arlim a potential no-cost Perfect Guard in desperate, last resort situations. And affirmative, the Great 1 Steam Maiden Arlim, we have 3 in the deck. Next up, the Great 1 Blitz Order Elementary Sanitude. Skills, first skill, Continuous Sentinel. You may only have up to 4 cards of Continuous Sentinel in the deck. Second skill, Continuous. You may only have 1 Elementary Sanitude in the deck. Third skill, Order. If your opponent's Vanguard has triple drive, this ability can be played without paying the cost. Place with a cost of, discard a card from hand if your Vanguard is grade 3 or less. If the cost is paid, choose one of your units. It cannot be hit until end of battle. Remove this card. So for Elementary Sanitude, it's the Blitz Order version of the Perfect Guard. Like any other Perfect Guard in the Cardfight Vanguard trading card game, it features the same skill and activation, which is, when played, discard a card from hand, you can block an enemy attack. But ideally, Elementary Sanitude works best against opponents who play decks that specialize in having a Vanguard of triple drive. For example, Grade 4s, G units, or Vanguards who have their drive checks increased by skill or card effect. Against such opponents, your Elementary Sanitude then can serve as a potential no-cost Perfect Guard. Okie dokie, the Great 1 Elementary Sanitude, we have 1 in the deck. Next up, the Great 1 Steam Breath Dragon. Skills, first skill, Continuous from the hand. While you are paying for the cost of Stride, this card may be discarded as a Grade 3. Second skill, Action from the hand. If you have a Chronojet Dragon crest, cost, discard this card. If the cost is paid, search your deck or drop for up to 1 grade 3 card Chronojet in its card name, reveal it, put it into your hand, and if you search your deck, shuffle your deck. So for Steam Breath, a support card for the Chronojet Dragon deck, its skills, the first skill, when it is time to pay for the cost of Stride, Steam Breath can serve as a potential grade 3, thereby conserving your hand cards for your later game strategy. And the second skill, when the conditions of the second skill are met and you pay the cost, you can search your deck or drop for a grade 3 Chronojet to help in your later game strategy. And affirmative, the Great 1 Steam Breath Dragon, we have 4 in the deck. Next, the Great 1 Steam Scara GG. Skill, auto. When this unit is placed on rearguard circle, if you have a Chronojet Dragon crest, cost, Soul Blast 2. If the cost is paid, draw a card, and if this unit is placed by your card's ability, this unit gets plus 5,000 power until end of turn. So for GG, another support card for the Chronojet Dragon deck for skill. When called, when the conditions of her skill are met by paying the cost, not only do you get to draw more cards to restock your hand with, but as long as the secondary condition of this skill is met, you can turn your GG into a potential 13,000 point attacker for your front row or 13,000 point booster for the back row. And confirm, the Great 1 Steam Scara GG, we have 4 in the deck. And next, the Great 1 Steam Battler Gungram. Skills, first skill, auto. When this unit is placed on the rearguard circle, Soul Charge 1. Second skill, action as a rearguard, once per turn. Cost, Soul Blast 3. If the cost is paid, draw a card. So for Gungram, a pretty good Great 1 to play in your Dark States Nation decks of its skills. The first skill, just by calling this card, you can build up your soul for later Soul Blast. And the second skill, by paying the cost, you can draw more cards to restock your hand with. Okay, the Great 1 Steam Battler Gungram, we have 3 in the deck. And with that, we just about covered the deck's Great 1 lineup. Next, let's get on to the Grade 0 lineup. And now for the Grade 0 lineup. For the Grade 0s in this deck, we are playing Ride Deck Grade 0 Chronojet. Skills, auto. When this unit is rolled upon, if you went second, draw a card. So for Chronojet, it's the starting unit of this deck, and like any other starting unit in the D standard format, it features the same skill and activation, which is, when written on top of, if you're the second to go in the game, draw 1 card. Alright, the Grade 0 Chronojet, we have 1 in the Ride deck. And of that, we just about covered the deck's Grade 0 lineup. Next, let's get on to the deck's Trigger lineup. And now for the Trigger lineup. For the triggers in this deck, we are playing Grade 0 Hades Dragon DD Resentment Damage Held Over Trigger. Skill, trigger, additional effect. You get during your turn, all of your Vanguards gets plus 10,000 power and plus 1 critical until end of the fight. So for Damage Held, it's the over trigger for the Dark States Nation. Like any other over trigger in the Cardfight Vanguard trading card game, it features the same skill and activation, which is, when revealed during a drive check or damage check, you get 100 million power and draw 1 card. But it also features an ability unique to it alone, which is, when revealed during a drive check, for the rest of the game, your Vanguard gets a continuous plus 10,000 power and plus 1 critical during your turn. So ideally, Damage Held is an overtrigger best revealed as early as possible during your turn. For the moment you get a Damage Held in your drive check, you can get a huge advantage by having continuous plus 10,000 power and plus 1 critical, making it easier to pressure and finish off your opponent with the increased power and critical this trigger provides. And alrighty, the Grade 0 Hades Dragon DD Resentment Damage Held Overtrigger, we have 1 in the deck. Next up, the Grade 0 Connected Rampage Clan Critical Trigger, we have 4 in the deck. Next up, the Grade 0 Stem Deviate Dragon Critical Trigger. Skill, auto as a rear guard. At the end of the battle this unit boosted, cost, put this unit to your soul. If the cost is paid, choose one of your units and it gets plus 2,000 power until end of turn. So for Stem Deviate, a powerful critical trigger to play in your Dark States Nation decks with its skill after boosting attack, regardless if you attack hits or not. As long as you don't mind moving Stem Deviate from your rear guard into your soul, not only do you get to build up your soul for later soul blasting, but you can also give a remaining attacker in your field, Vanguard or rear guard, a little extra power to work with. And okie dokie, the Grade 0 Stem Deviate Dragon Critical Trigger, we have 4 in the deck. Next up, the Grade 0 Roost Wild Master Riley Draw Trigger. Skill, continuous as a guardian. If your opponent's Vanguard is Grade 3 or greater, this unit gets plus 5,000 shield. So for Riley, a powerful draw trigger to play in your Dark States Nation decks with its skill, when she is used to guard with while the conditions of her skill are met, your Riley then can serve as a potential 10,000 point shield on her own. And affirmative, the Grade 0 Roost Wild Master Riley, we have 3 3 in the deck. And up next, the Grade 0, Incorruptible Holy Light Euphia Heal Trigger. Skill Auto. When this unit is placed on the Guardian Circle, if your opponent's attacking unit has attacked 2 or more times this turn, this unit gets plus 15,000 shield until end of battle. Active if this battle is its second attack this turn or more. So for Euphia, a powerful heal trigger to play in your Dark States Nation decks of her skill. When used to Guard Whip, while the conditions of her skill are met, your Euphia then can serve as a potential 25,000 point shield on her own. Ideally, Euphia is a counter heal, best played against opponents who play decks that specialize in restanding and attacking multiple times their units, either their Vanguard or Rearguard. And confirm the Grade 0 Incorruptible Holy Light Euphia Heal Trigger. We have 2 in the deck. And up next, the Grade 0 Brilliant Floral Eugenia Heal Trigger. Skill Auto. When this unit is put in the Guardian Circle, if the attacking unit's critical is 2 or greater, and its critical is increased by a non-trigger effect ability, or its original critical is 2 or greater, this unit gets plus 15,000 shield until end of battle. So for Eugenia, another powerful heal trigger to play in your Dark States Nation decks of her skill. When used to Guard Whip, while the conditions of her skill are met, your Eugenia then can serve as a potential 25,000 point shield on her own. Ideally, Eugenia is a counter heal that works best against opponents who play decks that specialize in increasing their attack unit's critical, Vanguard or Rearguard by skill or card effect. And alright, the Grade 0 Brilliant Floral Eugenia Heal Trigger. We have 2 in the deck. And with that, we just about covered the deck's trigger lineup. Next, let's get on to the G-Zone. And now for the G-Zone. For the cards in this G-Zone, we have Grade 4 G-Unit Chrono Dragon Next Stage. Skills. First skill, this card cannot be ridden in your main deck. Second skill, Stride Step. Cost, discard a Grade 3 card with Chronojet in its card name from hand and strike this card on your Vanguard Circle from face down. When you stride, your original Vanguard becomes a heart card, and this unit gets its card's power and card name. At the end of turn, return this unit face up. Third skill, Auto. As a Vanguard, Generation Break 2. At the end of the battle, this unit attacked a Vanguard, cost Counterblast 1 and discard 2 cards from hand. If the cost is paid, put this unit into your G-Zone face up, choose one of your Vanguards with Chronojet in its card name, and stand it. So for next stage, it's one of the G-Units to play in your Chronojet deck with its skills, the third skill. After attacking, while the conditions of the skill are met and by paying the cost, you can return next stage back to your G-Zone and restand your Vanguard Chronojet Dragon for another attack. And alright, the Grade 4 Chronojet Dragon next stage, we have 4 in the deck. Next up, Grade 4 G-Unit Interdimensional Dragon Fate Rider Dragon. Skills. First skill, this card cannot be put in your main deck. Second skill, Stride Step. Cost, choose one or more cards from the hand with the sum of their grades being 3 or greater and discard them. And strike this card on your Vanguard from face down. When you strike, your original Vanguard becomes a heart card, and this unit gets this card's power and card name, and at the end of the turn, return this unit face up. Third skill, Auto. As a Vanguard, when this unit attacks, cost Counterblast 1 and turn a card from G-Zone face up, and put a Rearguard on the bottom to the bottom of the deck. If the cost is paid, search your deck for up to 1 unit card with grade +1 of the card put on the bottom of your deck for this cost, call it to the Rearguard, shuffle your deck, choose one of your units, and it gets +5,000 power until end of turn for each face-up card in your G-Zone. So for Fate Rider Dragon, it's one of the other G-Units to play in your Chronojet deck. With its skills, the third skill, when attacking, by paying the cost, you can then Superior Call another card from your deck to serve as a potential front row attacker. And the best part is, after calling, you can then add a huge boost of power to the called unit depending on how many face-up cards you have in your G-Zone, giving you a better chance to pressure or finish off your opponent with. And okie dokie, the Grade 4 Interdimensional Dragon, Fate Rider Dragon, we have 4 in the deck. And at that, we just about covered the deck's G-Zone. And now, after having just explained the deck's build and card effects, for the cards in this deck we are playing 4 Grade 3 Chronojet Dragon, 3 Grade 3 Steam Fighter Bali, 1 Grade 2 Smoke Gear Dragon, 4 Grade 2 Upstream Dragon, 2 Grade 2 Steam Fighter Argandia, 3 Grade 2 Servant Falcrazia, 1 Grade 1 Mazer Gear Dragon, 3 Grade 1 Steam Maiden Arlene, 1 Grade 1 Elementary Sanitude, 4 Grade 1 Steam Breath Dragon, 4 Grade 1 Steam Scara Gigi, and 3 Grade 1 Steam Battler Gungram, and 1 Grade 0 Krillodran starting unit. And for the triggers in this deck, we are playing 1 Grade 0 Gamma Held Over Trigger, 8 critical triggers, 3 draw triggers, and 4 heal triggers. And then for the G zone, we are playing 4 Grade 4 Chrono Dragon next stage, and 4 Grade 4 Interdimensional Dragon Fate Rider Dragon. And okie dokie, the deck's been built, card effects explained. Now let's get on to testing out the deck. And here we are, back in the main menu. Going to test out the deck, so going to Fight menu, selecting CPU Fight, using the deck I just showcased to you, the Dark States Chronojet Dragon D-BT10 deck, putting the deck up and then choosing my opponent. The opponent I'm gonna test it out on is Stoikea's Gosetsu Katsushika. Hard difficulty and click. The battle begins. Let's get started. Here we are in the fight, gonna decide who goes first, so rock, paper, scissors, shoot! Rock to scissors, I win going first. Drawing our starting hands, I got myself a Steam Breath, a Draw Trigger, Heal Trigger, Falcrazia, and a Upstream. Not a bad starting hand, holding onto all normal units, redrawing triggers, redraw! Yes! I got a Gungram and a Heal Trigger, not a bad trade. My turn, draw! I ride from the right deck, Mazer Gear Dragon. Right deck cost, discarding a Heal Trigger Euphoria. Hold on. Let's see, Gosetsu plays the Flagberg deck. There are cards that specialize in restanding after attacking, so should hold on to the draw trigger. Instead, I am discarding... Holding on to Heal Trigger, discarding... This is a tough choice. I think I'm just gonna discard Gungram, discard, and ride! Mazer Gear Dragon! Skill of Mazer Gear, draw a card! Draw! Critical trigger, come on! The Chronojet Dragon crest deployed, and then I'm going to activate Steam Breath skill, discarding from hand, discard, and searching my deck for a Grade 3 Chronojet. Adding Chronojet to my hand, and that ought to do it. End of my turn, my opponent's turn. Crest activated, nothing happens. My opponent's turn, he's riding the Grade 1. Inroad Shooter, skill of the starter, he draws a card. He goes to battle phase, 8k to Vanguard, no guard can take it. Drive check. No trigger, Grade 3, safe, 1 damage. Ow! Damage check. Yes! Draw trigger, lucky draw! Draw card! Power up! Oh, come on, I drew another heal trigger? That's 2 out of 4 heals out of the deck already, in the beginning of the game, no less. Oh, come on, for real? I drew a critical trigger? Come on, why are all my triggers leaving the deck like this? Fine, I'm riding from the right deck, Smoke Gear Dragon, discarding the heal trigger, Uenia for the right deck cost, and ride Smoke Gear! Then I call for the rear guard, Upstream Dragon, and Falcrazia, call! Battle phase! First, my Chronojet Dragon crest activates, Falcrazia attacks the Vanguard, 10k! D-Tech goes through, and boom! 1 damage! Damage check! No trigger, safe! Now here comes my Vanguard to Vanguard, 10k! D-Tech goes through, drive check! No trigger, Smoke Gear! And no, it's Steam Breath, sorry about that. Second check, no damage, no triggers, 1 less card to worry about. The Grade 2 Upstream Dragon attacks the Vanguard, 10k. D-Tech goes through, and slash! 1 damage, damage check. No trigger, perfect guard, 1 less card to worry about. End of my turn, my opponent's turn. My opponent rides the Grade 2, Ascends Assault. Skills Inroad, Superior Call from Soul to Rear Guard. Adding power. Vanguard to Vanguard, 10k. No guard, can take it. Drive check. No trigger, safe. 1 damage. Ow. Ow. Damage check. No trigger. 10k from the rear guard. Guarding whiff. Next turn he'll get a huge amount of attacks on the way. I should block the damage early, so guarding whip, upstream dragon, 15k, just barely enough to block it. And ka-ching, safe. End of my opponent's turn, my turn. Stand and draw. I ride from the right deck, Chronojet Dragon. Right deck cost, I am discarding upstream dragon and ride Chronojet. Skill up Smoke Gear. Soul Blast 1. Soul Blast. And search my deck for a Grade 3. I'm adding Bali to my hand. That should be enough. Then going to the battle phase. First up, the crest activates, but nothing happens. My Falcrazia attacks the rear guard inroad. 10k, 10k. The attack goes through, and bash! One less rear guard to worry about. Vanguard to Vanguard, 13k. The attack goes through, twin drive, first check. Yes, critical trigger, just what I needed. Critical to Vanguard. Power to the rear guard upstream. Critical up, and power up. Second check. Yes, heal trigger. I cannot heal, but giving power to upstream. 2 damage on the way. Here we go. Fetch. Damage check first. No trigger. Second check. No trigger. Safe. The final attack of the turn. Upstream attacks the Vanguard. 30k. He guards with a perfect guard. That's not too bad. I made him waste it early. He discards with a cost a Grade 3 Stellan Cannon Dragon. The attack fails, and end of my turn, my opponent's turn. He's riding the Grade 3 Flagship Dragon, Blackbird Dragon. Skill, he's calling Ascends Assault, Aggress Blue, and Shelling Cannon. Shelling Cannon skill. Powering up. That's not good. He's attacking the rear guard, and I can't afford to lose my rear guards early, so guarding with the heal trigger, Eugenia. Guard, 20k, you're welcome, upstream. And ka-chink, rear guard protected. He attacks, Aggress Blue skill. Restand. Ascends Assault attacks the Vanguard. I can't afford to lose my whatever few front row attackers I have, but this is a tough choice. I gotta block the next few attacks, maybe, so, I still have Bali for front row attacking, but then I have to give up the Chronojet Dragon for the stride cost. Just gonna protect Steam Breath again. Guard, 25k. You're welcome, Steam Breath. He's protected. Now here comes Aggress Blue Dragon. Skill of Ascend Assault. Restand. Nothing happens. The attack fails. He attacked like, let's see, twice. That's gonna be the 5th attack this turn. He's gonna be able to retire. He retires to my rear guards. I just wasted my hands. Whatever. If I hadn't remembered the skill of Flagberg, I wouldn't have wasted my hand cards. And here comes Flagberg's skill. With 5 attacks done, he activates all the effects of Flagberg. He draws, retires my rear guards, and adds power and the restriction effect. No guard can take it. First check. No trigger, and second check. Critical trigger. Crit to Van and power to Shelling. 2 damage to me, here it comes. Ow! Damage check first. No trigger, GG. Second check. No trigger, Steam Breath. It's a really bad. Shelling Cannon to Vanguard, 33k. I guard whiff. 2 stem deviates. Guard, 43k. And ka-chink! Safe. End of my opponent's turn. My turn. Stand and draw. Steam Breath. skipping ride phase, going to stride phase. I am striding from the G zone, interdimensional dragon, Fate Rider dragon. Stride cost, discarding Bali. Here we go. Stride Degeneration, Fate Rider dragon. Skill of Chronojet, Counterblast 1. Counterblast, stride skill activated, sending a rear guard to the bottom of the deck. I am sending Shelling Cannon to the bottom of the deck. Bali skill, draw 1 card. Draw. Critical, come on. What should I do? I have no rear guards. Fine, I'm just gonna call... Wait, I think I can make this work. I am calling the critical trigger, Cleanse to the front row, call, and Steam Breath Dragon, call. That should do it. Going to the battle phase. Boosted by Steam Breath. Hold on. Crest activated. Boosted by Steam Breath. The rear guard Cleanse attacks the Vanguard. 13k. He guards of Aggress Blue. 18k. It's just enough. Now my Vanguard attacks the Vanguard. 28k. Skill of Fate Rider. Counterblast 1. Counterblast. Flip a card in the G zone face up. Send a card to the bottom of the deck. I am sending the critical trigger Cleanse back to my deck. Superior calling a card 1 grade higher. In this case, calling a great 1. I'm calling Steam Scarra GG the rear guard. Call GG. Power up. Power up. And then GG skill. Soul Blast 2. 1 and 2. Soul Blast. Draw a card. Draw. Yes, perfect guard and power up. Perfect guard. Knew that was coming. Discarding for the perfect guard cost. A critical trigger. Triple drive, first check. No trigger. Second check. Yes, critical trigger. Just what I needed. Giving all effects to GG. Critical up and power up. Third check. No trigger. Foul crate, so the attack fails, but now here comes one final attack from GG. Only 3 cards in hand, 2 intercepts. Vanguard the attacking the Vanguard, 33k. Critical trigger and double intercept, 38k. He used up his entire hand and field. Only has 2 cards left in hand. I might be able to survive the next turn. Persona Ride, he had one in hand. Calling the front row, at Mantis. At Mantis' skill, giving power 2. Nothing. He's calling the heal trigger, 0. 0 up to Vanguard. No guard, gonna take it.
No guard.
Ow! Damage check. No trigger, Gung Ram. Rear guard the Vanguard. Guarding with the heal trigger, Yufia. Guard, 23k. Just barely enough. Ka-ching! Safe! Final attack from the Vanguard, Flagberg. Flagberg's skill, he attacked 3 more times this turn, so he draws a card. I perfect guard with Arlen. Perfect guard cost, discarding. The critical trigger, Glenn, discard. Perfect guard activated, twin drive, first check, no trigger, and Mantis, and second check. Critical trigger, yes, he wasted a trigger. No more rigorous attack whip, so the trigger cannot hurt me. Trigger effects wasted, and it's the... Here it comes. Ka-chink, safe. That's the end of my opponent's turn. My turn. Stand and draw. Yes, another Chronojet Dragon. Skipping ride phase. Going to stride phase. This turn I'm going to stride Chrono Dragon next stage. Discarding for the stride cost, Chronojet Dragon. Let's do this! Stride Degeneration! Chrono Dragon next stage! Skill of Chronojet Dragon, Stride skill, Counterblast 1. I am sending at Mantis back to the deck. Moving GG to the back row, I am calling Falcrazia and Argandia. Call. That ought to do it. Going to the battle phase. Crest activated. And now my Vanguard attacks the Vanguard, 38k. The attack goes through, triple drive, first check. Draw trigger, nice. I draw a card, draw, giving power to Argandia. Second check. Yeah, over trigger. 100 million power to Argandia, and critical to Vanguard. So check. Yes! Critical trigger! Triple critical! Critical to Vanguard, power to my rear guard Valcrazia. Critical up and power up. 3 damage to opponent. Boom! Check 1. Over trigger, so lucky! Damage negated, powering up, second check. No trigger, safe. 6 damage, I win. It really scared me when he got an over trigger, but I still managed to win. The deck seemed to work pretty smoothly despite some bad luck of drawing triggers in my draw phase and draw skills, so I got win, triple trigger, attack 40,000 more power, perfect guard, drew an over trigger, opponent drew an over trigger, 8 turns pass, did a superior call, retired 5 or more opposing units, and drew 3 more times in 1 turn. I got 3150 DP, total 265,000, 525 DP, pressing A to go next, leaving the fight, returning to the fight menu. Back at the fight menu, leaving fight menu, going back to the main menu. Here we are in the main menu to edit deck menu. With that, deck has been built, card effects explained, and I just finished testing the deck out in front of you. So first I want to say is, thank you to the viewers for watching today's video, and to please stay tuned for more videos I plan to upload again in the near future. I also hope you all show support by liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing to my videos and channel. And with that I say, goodbye, and see you all.